Hello, welcome back to Echoes of Experience. My name is Mike. Today we're going to talk about motivation versus discipline. And the reason I want to talk about that is because I almost didn't keep my word today. I almost did not do this video because I'm feeling a severe lack of motivation lately. I've been fucking exhausted and not really feeling like doing a whole lot. So we're going to talk about that today. We all know what motivation means. It's that little initial feeling you get whenever you start to get passionate about something, and you have the want to do it, right? Say like a gym routine or content creation, because everything burns everybody out at some point or another, just kind of depending, right? So like I really love the idea of getting on camera and kind of talking to people and hopefully giving something of value to people that I personally did not get other than from, you know, snippets here and there and that little golden nugget of information, you know, stuff like that. I learned a lot of things the hard way, but I really enjoy doing this. And it's not even like it's a chore. It's just one of those things where I'm not feeling very motivated, but I'm not allowing myself to go against my fucking word because I said before I started this, or at least before I started doing this consistently, that I was going to do this once a week at minimum, right? And I almost went against my word today, but we're not going to do that. It's been a hell of a month. It's the fucking 2nd of July. um, so let's get into it. We know what motivation is. I already went over that. We know what that is. And motivation is great. Okay, it's that great little I don't know if it's a release of endorphins, but it's a sudden drive to do something, right? But what happens when you no longer have that motivation? You know what I mean? That's where discipline comes in. If you are the type, and everybody at some point hits this, if you're the type to use strictly motivation as opposed to holding yourself accountable to do what you said you were going to do. That's why a lot of people fail their New Year's resolutions because they it's the same thing every fucking year, right? Someone wants to start a gym routine or they want to start eating healthy. They set a goal for themselves at the beginning of the year for their New Year's resolution and almost never follow through with it because they lack the discipline to follow through with it, right? And I've been one of those people. I understand how this goes. Um, but I am not allowing myself to do that anymore. I'm I don't give a shit how exhausted I am. I don't give a shit how beat to fuck I am in a week or in a few days, whatever, because it always varies with my job um, and life in general, honestly, as it does for everyone. I'm not allowing myself to slack on what I said I was going to do, whether that be this or my workouts, whatever, right? I don't allow myself to do that anymore for good reason. Because if I allow myself to do that, that turns into a slippery slope of, well, now I'm not going to do this because I said I was going to do this too, but I don't feel like doing that today, so I'm not going to do it. But where does that lead you? You know what I mean? It leads you into a constant cycle of let's do this thing, but then not being consistent with it. So this is discipline. This is holding yourself accountable at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, who is going to hold you accountable better than you? For me, it has always been best that I hold myself accountable. It just works better for me that way. I kick my own ass into gear and get to fucking work, right? Regardless of what it is. If I start to notice myself slipping, then I'm not perfect. I absolutely slip on things sometimes. Um, but I always tell myself, like, even if we don't want to, we have to, depending on what it is. If it's my workout stuff, then we have to do it. If it's this, I said I was going to do this, so this is what we're going to do. And it works for me. And I feel like if more people did that, they would have less to complain about when it came to motivation. I don't have the motivation. It's not a lack of motivation. I mean, it could be. It's a lack of discipline to follow through with what you said or a goal that you set, right? Let's say we'll turn it into something very, very little, right? Let's say you have a set day to do laundry every week, right? Or if you have to do multiple days in a week of doing laundry because you might have a house full of kids. I don't fucking know. But laundry. You have a set day to do your laundry. And you skip that day. That day comes up and you skip that day of doing laundry. Are you doing it the next day? Did you do it the day before? Probably not, right? Oh, I have enough clothes to last me this long. I'm using this as an example because I've done this recently. Um, and it never works out that way. It always turns into I can push it off another day, and so on and so forth. But what I've noticed is the longer you do that, the more things you do that with, the more you're allowing yourself to not to make up excuses to not do what you said you were going to do or complete that goal that you set for yourself, right? Whether that be a goal of learning a language or getting in shape or eating healthier, those go hand in hand. But you know what I mean. Um, Shit like that. Or if you want to work on a character flaw, you know, because that can be a goal. I hope people are setting goals like that to improve on character flaws because that's ultimately the goal, right? Just because you stop learning at some point in terms of like, I don't know, schooling doesn't necessarily mean you stop learning to grow as a person. You could be fixing your character flaws. You could be, if you choose to do so, you could be learning a language. You could learn a trade. You could learn about this, whatever. This is really simple stuff for the most part. Like there's a lot to it when it comes to the promotion, but sitting down and recording something isn't fucking hard. And I'm not going to lie, I don't go out of my way to constantly promote my stuff cuz if you find me, great. If you follow me on social media and you see that I've posted something on YouTube and you go watch it, great. I'm not going to sit here and put it in your fucking face every 5 minutes. I'm not going to put the same episode in your face every single day. I think it's great when podcasts put clips of funny stuff or insightful stuff. out there, I think that's a great thing. I don't have the time for it. Or I'm sorry, I don't make the time for it. Um, because I like to have my me time. I like to have time with my friends. I like to have the time to do the things that I like to do outside of this or um, work, right? So I don't make the time to do it, but I always and will always make the time to sit down and record something because I said I was going to do it. I'm holding myself accountable, and I feel like everybody does or should do. I'm going to say should do because I see a lot of lack of accountability on the internet these days, or from personal conversations or whatever. I see it constantly. It's a lack of discipline, it's a lack of holding yourself accountable. And it always turns into the same cycle. I need to get back into this, or I need to start doing this again, and blah, blah, fucking blah. Okay, then do that. Like just fucking do it. Because 9 times out of 10, that thing that you said you were going to do, we'll use dishes, right? If you hold off dishes for 2 weeks and your sink is piling up, it takes you maybe half an hour to wash all those fucking dishes if you don't have a dishwasher. It takes you 5 to put those motherfuckers in the dishwasher. It might take you 10 to put everything away once the dishwasher's done. And it wasn't that bad to do once you get it done, was it? You know what I mean? Like there are definitely things that seem more taxing than others, and some things definitely are more taxing than others. But if you allow yourself to fall into the slippery slope of I'll push that off for another day, that leads to a whole lot of that didn't get done, or I stopped doing this, even if it's a passion project, like, and to an extent, like passion projects, you should hold yourself accountable to doing. If you told yourself you were going to do something, and this could be working on a car, like a project car, if you have the funds to do so. In this economy, I fucking doubt it, but who knows? Um, or you want to fix up your house. If you live in an old fucking house, you want to fix that shit up. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. Um, Ignore that click. I right clicked when I put my hand down. Whoops. um, so I would just like it noted that it is very different to have motivation and to have discipline, or to practice discipline, because I feel like that's a very important distinction. You know what I mean? I need to do this. I didn't clean up my shirt back there. Whatever. Um, that'll get done after I do this video. It's not complicated. It's sometimes harder on some days than others. There are some days you're just burnt the fuck out and exhausted and don't want to do shit. I get that. But on those crucial tasks that need to be done, do those when you get home. Do those before you spend 5 hours or 6 hours on the couch or playing a video game, whatever you do for your decompression time or your me time. You know what I mean? Like I understand that some days are harder than others, and you're always going to have days like that. It's the discipline that will make it a whole lot easier for you to get that shit done. Wow. Um, in the long run, than if you just use the motivation, because motivation comes and goes, but discipline, if you practice it and you're consistent with it, is always there to stay. So that's all I really have on that. I didn't even take any notes for this, but I decided to use myself as an example and do this today because this was a thought that I had. I was like, I'm not going to record today. And then something like clicked in my brain. We said we would do it at least once a fucking week, right? That's what I said. That if you've watched that intro video, that introduction to this Echoes of Experience thing, then you heard me say those words. I was going to do at minimum once a week. So that's what I'm going to do. And on those weeks where I have a lot of shit to talk about, and some weeks I do, it will be 2, 3, 4 times a week, depending on the week. But bare minimum, once a week. And I feel like that can be applied to a whole lot of things. Relationships, friendships, fucking tasks around the house that I also need to do. Whatever. You know, like, it's not complicated. We just make it harder on ourselves than we need to. So with that being said, I hope this helps someone out there who lacks accountability and discipline. I don't know if those go hand in hand, but we're going to say that they do for the sake of the video. I will see you on the next one, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Bye.